Double game week 34 is here, and it's likely I'm going to be taking a -4 hit this game week to optimize for the double. Now, let's take a look at how my team might line up ahead of that Saturday deadline. Right, let's jump straight into things with the goalkeeper and defenders. We have David Raya of Arsenal, Zabani of Bournemouth, Gusto of Chelsea, and Gabriel of Arsenal. Now, straight away, I can tell you that Pedro Porro on my bench will be sold this game week, being the highest costing defender that I am willing to sell. He will be going out of the squad, and somebody will be taking his place. It's more than likely a midfielder will be joining him on the way out, but we will talk more about that as we go through the video. So let's take a look at what we can expect from this double game week with my defence. Zabani, Gabriel, and David Raya, really big favourites in terms of points, expected points. I do really like the idea of, an Arsenal double up in the defence, which is why I have went with it. Of course, Saka in the midfield, you will see later, is my Arsenal triple up. In terms of who I could possibly bring in the defence, I'll briefly rush across it. We've got Mitchell from Crystal Palace, who I really quite like as an option. You've got also, I believe it's Munoz of Crystal Palace as well. I don't mind that pick either. But I'm more excited about the possibility of getting a Liverpool defender in. Of course, with Connor Bradley being injured, that plan is out the window. So I will have to go for a Van Dijk, Robertson, or Trent. I feel as though those three are the more likely to get starts in both of the fixtures. I'm more leaning towards the Trent move, but with funds being so tight, I'll speak a little bit about the midfield options if I go for each one of those players. But overall, I'm really excited for this double game week. It's a strategy that has been building up over the past few weeks, and to see it come into play now is quite exciting. So let's see how the defence do this game week. Now, midfielders, let's take a quick look of who is starting at the moment. You've got Salah, Foden, Saka, and Brenton Diaz. Of course, Brenton Diaz joining the side last game week, not scoring any points really. Overall, quite a disappointing week. You've only got the likes of Palmer and Haaland, who I believe got good points, not black. Gusto did as well, because Chelsea did get the clean sheet against Everton. But overall, it was a disappointing week. Last week, we dropped about 20k in rank roughly. But yeah, in terms of midfielders, I'm really happy with who I've got there. I would quite happily just leave that. But with it being a double game week, I really wanted to attack it. And with the players I got, I feel as though there is some room for some slight improvement. So let's talk about it. Foden, now him playing quite a lot of minutes within the Champions League fixture allows me more to sell him over Palmer on my bench, and also frees up a little bit more funds for a possible more premium pick rather than a cheaper one. Not that cheaper FPL options are bad, but I feel as though there's a lot more potential in an Arsenal player, in a Liverpool player, than, someone from Crystal Palace or Wolves. But that could, of course, be completely wrong, and a Crystal Palace player could outscore many Arsenal assets. But the move from the defence, which I'll go on to, Pedro Porro to Mitchell, gives me the funds to put Foden to a more premium player, the likes of Diaz, Jota, players like that. It frees up the money to go for an Eze as well. If I go for Trent, it's a lot more harder. Pedro Porro to Trent, and then Foden would have to go to a midfielder that is 5.3 million. So in that case, I'll be more inclined to start Palmer over a 5.3 million asset. You're only really looking at midfielders like John McGinn, who could really come in and possibly score some decent points. But of course, Aston Villa with no double game week. Is it that much of an upgrade from Palmer? I'm not too sure. So that could be a thing that I do. Pedro Porro out. Gusto to the bench, of course. Trent then starting with that amazing double game week. And then Foden would go to a 5.3 midfielder who would then just sit on the bench. And Palmer would start against Arsenal. It's a problem because Palmer plays Arsenal and I have double Arsenal defence. So is it really something I want to be doing? Not particularly, but of course having a double game week, Arsenal have the chance for a clean sheet against both teams. So I do like the idea, but I'm not too sure about it. The only upside really in that move would be the fact that I'll be allowed to play Trent, who is absolutely premium defender, but then I would have to play Palmer against my own double defence. So it seems that not the smartest idea, but we could move on to the next transfer option, which I do actually quite like. It would be a Van Dijk or a Andrew Robertson pick in the defence. That is Pedro Porro, Robertson or Van Dijk. And then Foden would then transfer into someone like an Eze, who I think has good upside this game week. But it's just these three options that I could go for, and I'm not too sure which one I'll pick. But that's just the transfer options I've got currently. Now, in terms of forwards, of course, Solanke, Darwin and Haaland remain. Haaland is flagged up on my software I use for planning my FPL team, so I'm not too sure what's going on there, but I'm not too worried about it right now. I guess we'll find out some more information as the week goes on. It could be the case that if we find out that Haaland and Foden or just Haaland aren't starting, my transfer plans change up quite drastically. You know, the likes of Mateta or a Cunha perhaps coming to the side, which allows more funds to be distributed for a player like Trent. Makes the move a little bit easier in my opinion, but I'm just not sure about Palace's fixtures. Can they really, hold up this decent form they're in? The likes of Henderson being in goal now, who I think is a really strong goalkeeper, kept them massively in the game against Liverpool the other week. So there is big upside potentially with Palace players, but I think the more hit or missy than we're painting them out to be. If they didn't just beat Liverpool 1-0, I'm not sure we'll be talking too much about Crystal Palace players. But overall with the team, I'm actually really happy with it. A -4 will be taken to optimise for the double game week. And now, in terms of captaincy, it's a tough one. It really is, because I don't know how many minutes Salah is going to get in his fixture against Atalanta. I believe they're playing tonight. If they're not, I am incredibly sorry, but I do believe they are playing tonight, and we'll find out more information about the likes of Darwin and Salah and maybe even Trent ahead of those moves, which will be really useful. But it's a big fixture for Liverpool. In my eyes, Salah should be probably playing 90 minutes, or at least until Klopp thinks the game is done, and bring on the likes of a Harvey Elliott or somebody like that to replace him. Again, there's a title race on the go, and a little thing I will say about the title race is, City and Arsenal now out of Europe. It could be a massive opportunity for us FPL managers to really keep those big name players in, because they're going to be getting a lot of minutes towards the end of the season, really pushing to get something positive out of the season. Of course, City slightly in the lead of the title race and probably more than likely going to win it. But, I think that's good news for players like Salah, possibly Darwin, Saka, Odegaard, Havertz. Players like that, I think that's really good news, because there's less responsibility on them now. There's more time to rest. So, it could be a good thing. For those fans of those football clubs, I am sorry that you've lost. I really wanted an English club to win it this year. I really thought Arsenal could go and win it. But, they really struggle in Europe, Arsenal, which is a fascinating thing. Being the best defence in England and then going to Europe and struggling so much. But, overall, I'm pretty happy. In terms of captaincy, I think you can look at players like Saka or Salah, someone with a double game week. It's more than likely going to be those two, though. But really happy with the team, and I'm super excited for game week 34. if you're still watching to this point now, I just want to say a massive thank you for all of the support. If you're not already subscribed, please consider dropping a like on this video and a subscribe on my channel. That should tell you when I've posted my latest FPL videos. But that is everything for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye for now.